Monday stream. Got some good rest over the weekend, so I'm feeling a bit better. And at this point, I'm probably gonna try a couple different things. I wanted to take a swing at Vue.js. Let's go ahead and do that today. So I played around with Vue.js years ago, and I just haven't really ever gone back to it. So let's kind of play around with Vue. Take a look. Part of the reason is because I want to use it for a project, and I just haven't. I think it's going to be pretty fast framework, and I wanted to try to play around with that. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of become more confident in it and just look at how the like folder structure and things like that. Just because, so React I think has a bit more of a solid application structure, but I don't. So like this is a thing. There's components main. So I'm always interested. Folder structure really kind of helps determine certain things that I think as a more experienced developer you can kind of look at it and be like, oh, I see what's going on. So like the folder structure for, say, React helps you figure out where things should go and kind of the general path. Yeah, you can always move things later. And I think as you become a more experienced developer, you'll go for smaller, do not, don't repeat yourself, the solid principles, things of that particular sort. But I haven't really played around with Vue per se. And the structure for this seems a bit different. Not too different, but a little different from, say, like how you might do an Angular application, which I've spent a number of years doing. So I see they've broken things up from, I would have thought from based on this structure here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Based on this structure here, because they broke up router into its own folder, and I'm not sure why you would specifically do that. But maybe it'll say. Let's take a look. There's our fonts and our assets, our global, error handler, locales, the routes. Oh, I see what they did here. So looks like they've taken the routes, and this is for the routing, and then under services is Axiosian modules. How do you route with Vue? Vue routing. I'm playing around with that. Let's take a look. Page app with the home student page, with the student page API call. Let's take a look and see what we can find. App.view, active camp, install. There's a Vue router. Oh, I see. Let's start. Let's make one. Let's go ahead and try. Let's go over here. Let's do See, do we have view? View is not created. How do we start? Let's look at that because I haven't done view in so long. I wonder if it's a CLI like view. Yeah, there it is. And I'm gonna use npm. Now I've been meaning to try bun. I don't think there's much of a difference. I played around with some Go the other day, but I didn't try bun. But I hear bun is much faster. But I'm not really. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, we'll do npm create view at latest. And let's start with we'll make a simple view app. And let's give that a try. Yeah. And I am going to use TypeScript. I don't know if I really need to add JSX support. No, let's. No? Add view. Yes. No for right now. No unit testing. No. Yes. Yes. Let's go to cd simple view app npmi. Oh, so let's see. And let's do npm run dev and see what it looks like. Then we're on localhost. Let's come over here and take a look. Here we go. So let's take a look at what this all looks like. Let's open you up. So here we go. My whole system just kind of ramped up for that. So I'm making a simple source. I'll start off. Let's make a simple directory for router. Oh, never mind. There's already one that exists. And already added TypeScript. Let's try to make the view. Yeah, home. History. Wonder, do we need the modes? Do we still need this anymore? Let's see. More actions. Object labels may only be specified known properties. So mode, what would be the known properties? Const, I guess. It's fine. So slash home components. There's, I guess, the home view. Oh, I see. So, all right. So there's the about. I really don't. Oh, I guess there's two ways of doing it. So we can either bring it in, or we can point it by saying dot dot slash. I don't know if it's better or worse. Oh, I would like the lazy loading. So I see. Nice. So you could then lazy load home view dot view. Nice. And if we come back here, it doesn't really affect anything. I want to try to make something pretty simple. So I'm going to make a quick little student page. We'll call it students dot view. Oh yeah, I think I need to install npmi Axios. I'm going to use Axios for this. Let's go ahead and come over here and restart it. npm start. npm run. npm run dev. Yeah. npm run. Wait, what did I do over here? Yeah, npm run dev. Yeah. So there we go. You're refreshed. So we got our students over here. So it looks like you kind of start off with template. And I wonder, view Bootstrap? Guess there is. There's a view for Bootstrap. Responsive, get started, view. Yeah, I guess I can just do this. I'm a fan of Bootstrap. I know other people are not. But I am. And so import. So we need to come back over here. There's a lot of little things that I didn't know about. In your app main. Well, I don't know where this goes. View.use. So is it in here? Import. Typically app.js or main.js. I have neither an app nor a main in here. Oh, there it is. Then for you, import, I guess, these guys. And then icon components plugin. So then do we do view.use? I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. Let's take a look. Take a look and see. So one of the things that I think I mentioned last time is that I find useful is I think all code that you ever get from, like, say, ChatGPT, libraries. Yeah, I think you can totally use ChatGPT. I don't think it's horrible code. I think that what you need to end up doing is always checking it. So create app from view. I guess it would be view.use. Or would it be app.use? Didn't I? Hold on a second. Icons plugin? Oh, I called it icons plugin. Yep. I think that would work. Oh, I see. I think it's supposed to go down here, because that's really a little unclear. This is one of the reasons why some of this stuff I don't think is particularly clear. Oh boy, see, stuff like this that I yeah, so like stuff like this that I'm just like, what? What? Where would this even go? But let's see. The setup I find is I'm not sure that Bootstrap View supports View 3. Here's the most up-to-date comments as of 2002. Yeah, I guess someone fixed it. And then finally, oh, I see, .use. So it would be .use and then .use. Extends app. Yeah, I guess this is it. You create an app. .use method, and I haven't. Argument. Let's take a look at this. Importing. Only supports View 2. But there's GitHub tracking it. I see. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. So, so I guess there's, oh yeah, Bootstrap 3 was depreciated. Bootstrap to the Bootstrap View organization. Yeah, okay. But it still doesn't seem to be right. Yeah, so this is one of the things that I find very frustrating is yeah, I find this to be very frustrating. Because it looks like some of this stuff isn't up to date. And yeah, no, it looks like you don't need to do anything else. So here's the main.js. I guess you don't need anything else. Oh, I see. So the goal, instead of having like Bootstrap View components, you just kind of pull in Bootstrap. I see. So, and then you don't ever solve this problem I see. All right. That's perfectly fine with me. I'm perfectly fine to just use. And if I look here, we install it, but we just import. We don't actually use these. Yeah. And then we can come over here to our students. And again, I don't think I'm in love with this approach. It's not. But again, I'm used to much more of a structured approach. I like that clear separation, but I guess this works fine. Let's lazy load in students. Call you students. And what's going to be home students dot view. This seems to be just fine. I don't have any components for it. Let's come back over here to students. Let's make our div class equal container. Let's create some generic code. Yeah. In student, it looks like you just put your script stuff here, which I guess is pretty simple. Is there no more of the hooks? Let's take a look. I guess when we do import, I guess this works. Const app.mount template syntax. Only use VHTML on trusted content and never on user provided content. Oh, fair enough. All right, here I'm gonna open some food. I haven't eaten very much today. Nom nom nom. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I see. Computer properties? There's videos on it. Oh, so now we do this. I see. Oh, I see. Wouldn't we I guess we could do an if else. If students otherwise students no students no students available if no students or students dot length equal to 0 if students and students dot length greater than 0. I wonder if that will work. What? I don't know. So you can v else. And what's your complaint? This should be moved to the wrapper element. Oh, well, that's true. Let's do this instead. So if there's no students, let's move you to the wrapper. That's a good point. V show. I see. See? List rendering. All right. Let's take a look at these lifecycle hooks. One setup. And created the components. Nom nom. Oh, I see setup here. Let's see. But I wonder what this setup is. I get my application running here somewhere. Maybe I do. Oh yeah. Home. About. Hello world. Welcome. Home view. The welcome. So over here we should have something. Slot 1. Heading. The welcome. Oh, I just didn't scroll down a bit. I don't see anything here. What was I looking for? Looking for about. Is it over here? No. Where's my about page? Index. There it is. It's an app view. Router link to students. There it is. Let's go back over here. And view students.view. What are you complaining about? Oh, fine. Wait, what are you grumpy about? This seems weird. Is it not a module? Oh, yeah, I haven't finished yet. I have not finished yet. Style. Work over here to the welcome view. Template. Style. Welcome item template. Image template. Script. Huh. Alright. Student / template script equals TS. Let's take a look. So let's move you over to here. Let's move you here. What are we grumpy about here? Setup script. And I guess you can put it wherever. At the top or at the bottom? Script, language, that up. Let's go ahead and create an Axios. Let's add you. Let's create an interface. Sometimes this doesn't feel very clean. I feel like I should put these in their own smaller pieces, but I guess you don't necessarily. Let's see. There is a user API, a free user API. Yeah, here it is, the random user generator. Yeah, there it is. So we'll just take you and move you over to the side. There's that. And I guess you do something along the lines of this. This feels weird though. Let me read what it says again. A module cannot have multiple blah 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 blah. Cannot have multiple default exports. We did that. I wonder if it's due to the setup bit. Yep, it's due to the setup. On type. See. All right. This dot students does not exist. Interface student. Suppress multi-word component names for current. I don't know. I don't know enough about this to say. I don't have any strong feelings about it one way or the other. The Axios seems fine. The Axios seems fine. This doesn't seem right though, but let's take a look. I wonder if this is still applicable. Let's take a look. Let's play around with this. Write the students.view into TypeScript. Yeah, let's take a look and see what it comes up with. And I'm gonna eat more. Food. Now this is a much better version. So, if we do this, we'll put the placeholder here. Let's take a look. We do want let's mimic this. And it's going to consist of, let's do a gender here, name, which is going to consist of a title, string first. It's a string and a last, maybe. It's also going to be a string. Then we'll keep email in here as well. Yeah, we'll do email as well. Yeah. Ref. And then we'll change you up to be something else. And I guess this can go either before or after. I don't think it matters. Well, here's the code that it gave me, which seems fine. Let's plug in our URL. And I think you can put in a particular amount of students. I think it's a question mark. Let's look at the documentation. How to use seed. Still results of like 10. Huh. One second. Let's see if we actually have an ID. Hmm. Yeah. Well, let's convert it. Let's not do it straight. Let's take this. I don't mind converting it. I don't actually know what the data is going to be. So let's get it. Put a debugger in here. Do an inspect. Go to students page. There's our debugger. Here we go. Data. There it is. So it would have been response.data. .results. And then yeah. So and then this would be ID. And it would consist of yeah. I think it's better to take the information and transform it. Let's see. It is data. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Let's ask it. Let us look this up. The response.data is not a list of students, but contains the information in an object inside of response.data called the results. Please write a transformer to convert the list in results into valid student objects. Let's see what it comes out with. Hmm? 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 I don't know if I prefer one or the other. I really just wanted the function. Yeah, here it is. I just wanted this function. Yeah, I just wanted this piece. I guess it's fine to keep it all here. This feels weirdly messy. I guess you could separate this out and return, yeah. So an ID with data.results.map unresolved function or method map number-ish and for you, let's take a look. It's going to be id.value. So item.id.value. Name is fine. Email is going to be fine too. Item.email. Come on, help me out here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And then let's take you and say this dot, what is it? This dot student. Oh, we could just say students dot value. We don't have to say this dot students. So is equal to transform response. Let's see what we get out of that. Student dot. Yeah, there we go. That stops you. What are you grumpy about? Yeah, let's move you down because it seems grumpy about you. Control C. That seems to be happier for it. It's built in built always be multi-word. What? Cannot serve for component template content. Let's take a look at what that error means, because that's weird. What? Yes, lint. What's the error? I'm not seeing anything over here. Students should always be multi-word? What? Template. Welcome item. I guess it should be called student item. Guess this is what I'm doing. Maybe, I don't know. Following along over here. So we have our script template. A welcome item, though I don't think that's quite right. Yeah, no, this is the template for welcome item. I don't think that's right. It's not. Just be able to do a template this way. Script main. Class equals about. I mean, that seems fine. Template style scoped. Hello world. Script. Setup. I guess Guile scoped and just leave it empty. Maybe that's what it's missing. Maybe that is what it's missing. No, that's weird. The only other thing I can think is that it should move it back to the top. No. Students should always be multi-word. What? I don't know what it's asking. Component name should be multi-word. View component name should be multi-word. What is that about? Should be like you could rename the component or disable linting. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Add rules. View multi-word component off. Yeah, let's add that to my ES linter because it's just not. I don't think it's worth it. Other than that, I think we're all right. Add LIO div. There we go. What are you grumpy about now? Oh, you're not. Phew. Let's see if we get a tune out of this trombone. Do I still have the debugger in there? No, I took it out. So let's refresh. Students. I think something is wrong. It is. Data.results is undefined. So, let's put the debugger here. It does work. Data. Oh, I see. It's data.data. Let's see if that works. Nice. So there's my students page. There we go. That's not terrible. That took longer than I expected though. But no, so that makes sense. I don't know if I'm in love with this style. It seems like you're stacking a lot of stuff all in one thing. I do like separation of concerns. Let me see how that works and plays out. How do you do proper separation of concerns in Vue? I guess somebody asked 4 years ago. Templating in Vue, separation of concerns or separation of technology or something else. Um, no, I think I kind of enjoy that separation of concerns. Apps to break is what will be circling around. I think everyone reading this article will agree to me that with HTML, CSS, or JavaScript all solve their own problems. These are the main tools we're offered to work with in order to build a browser-side application. I'm writing my own take on the purpose of each technology, yada yada yada. Are we talking about single file components? So we're already doing single file bias. So take the whole separation of concerns within a single file component isn't needed is actually it's a non sequitur. Separation of concerns is not why we need to split up HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So why should we split them up? I put forward it's not because of separation, but rather because of a single responsibility principle. Well, that is, I guess that's technically true. That each software module should have one and only one reason to change. Now we can argue that we're also already doing modules with single file. What is it? Single, what's that term? Single file component. Yeah. So why would anyone go to a, that could be reasons to change the structure. So yeah, I guess it's more single responsibility principle than single responsibility. I guess single responsibility principle rather than separation of concerns. Developer cognitive. The next argument against the separation is templating language. One must learn to work with templates in Vue. It's said to be cognitive load for the dev. Well, anyone that's done anything with templates knows about using them or familiar with the usual APIs to get display logic. I think over time I've come to appreciate the fact that we separate our code in other programming languages, or can separate our code. And so I think that you can run into this where you don't want to just put all of your code in one giant file. At least I don't, but I just think it gets a little messy. But I get what they've come away with this. I guess, but it just reminds me of a straight. It just reminds me of a straight. Excuse me. It reminds me of a straight old HTML website where you really didn't have separation of concerns. You just throw your HTML and your JavaScript all on the page in your style. It feels messy to me personally, but I think everyone's a little different. But I'm gonna start using this. I do like the folder structure that someone proposed. Let's take a look. Where did it go? Where did you go? I guess you're here, yeah. So this folder structure doesn't seem too terrible. And I guess you just keep breaking things into smaller and smaller components. So you have your components, your layouts. What do they put in layouts? Let's take a look. Yeah, see, reusable components. And then your base empty view. I see layouts. The layouts of your application, I guess. Nested view routes. I see. Some applications are composed of components that are nested multiple levels deep. So some params. These are passed to create router. To enter components in this nested view, we need to use the children option. So children user profile will be rendered inside. user's router view when the user ID. I see. I mean, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely going to use view. It just sometimes this feels a little opposite the way I was kind of introduced to the whole thing. So again, we kind of, this used to be the old approach. Not to say that it's exactly like, just we used to have a similar approach years ago where, we put HTML, CSS, JavaScript all in one file. And you still have people who are taught that from the beginning. And then you have this where we started to move away from it and kind of create our JavaScript separately. At least we did in Angular, and we started to move towards that direction potentially in some C#, and now we've kind of come full circle and brought it back with Vue. But it is what it is. I guess I'll play around with it. But no, I'll be using Next for my next application, and I'm just not the biggest fan. I'll be using Vue for my next application, but I'm not in love with Next. I did take a look at it. Let's take a look at Bootstrap, and more so specifically, I want to look at how we do lists. Yeah, let's do a list group, and make this look a little bit better. So we have our on-mounted, and this does different things. It's different, but it doesn't. And I get it. Yeah, I get it that you sit down and you can do much more in Vue, and I guess technically it is simpler. Just doesn't always feel the same. Yeah, there's the list group, title, first name, last name, student name. Wait a second. Oh, that is the student name. You returned it as an object. So let's see if it accepts the dot nomenclature. Student.name with title, and let's do title, first name, name dot last. I guess it doesn't treat it that way, so I guess we got to do this. Or maybe not. I guess the better approach would be to concatenate it. Before we did this. So let's do student.name.title. Let's put you over here. And do this instead. U, and then it's dot last, and then put a comma over here, and do dot name dot first. Yeah, there we go. So now let's take a look. There it is, Mrs. Iglesias, Cynthia, and I guess we could swap those out so that it looks a bit better. Yeah, let's do first and then last name. So I don't hate it. I will probably need to play around with more Vue to try to figure out some of the things that I have in mind. I'm worried about repeating myself because I'm making a bunch of Axios calls. Let's take a look and see what other documentation and information In view apps with multiple API calls, how can you not repeat yourself? Let's take a look. I don't want to do multiple API calls. In view with API calls, how do you not repeat yourself? And I don't know if there's a way to. It's so far with all. Your defier has your concepts in the code, so you're only going to write it, but the thing you write will be flaky and incomplete. These service libraries. We're still making an API call. And this popular talk and explain in this article. So you always want to try the wet code base. Oh boy, this is kind of long. I just learned this and it looks to be a copy and paste. But it was repetitive. I see. It wasn't clean. Most of the reference was between similar directions. We could remove all duplication by grouping the code like this. But it took me years. I was aghast. The old code was a mess, and mine was quote-unquote clean. I see. It's a phase. Obsessing with clean code and removing duplication is a phase many of us go through. Fair enough. When we don't feel confident in our code, it is attempting to catch our... You can't automate removing duplication, but it does get easier with practice. You can tell whether it's more or less of it after a change. Yeah, I agree. You can get really high on the abstractions, and then you're like, oh, well, we don't want to repeat ourselves everywhere, and that's so true. That's okay. Like, I think as long as you're not reusing, so like I guess this would be an example, but you're always still going to make the same API call. Like you can make the functionality easier, but you're still going to have to write code that says make the API call. So I think I'm just going to have to accept that rather than like, I guess I could make a component or a library that does it, but I'm still going to have to be like, no, go call it, which means I'm still going to repeat the code. I'll pass in different parameters, but it's still going to be make this call to go do this. And I probably will, because what I'll do is I'll attach a bearer token. But let's see how some other people do it. View centralized API call with bearer token. Yeah, because that's ultimately what I'm going to do. So, and it looks like somebody's written a whole... Well, I don't want to look at auth just yet. But I do want to take something along the lines of this. Clean and simple. Create a service. Don't use option. Yeah, if keep all the API calls in a Vuex. Probably should update the PNI. I don't know, but anyways, like creates a bit of overhead and mocking. And that's not fun. Create a service plain.js that would contain the API calls. So I think option 2 contains all the endpoints. Then instantiate that within my HTTP service. Though I'm guilty of mixing in. We've created JavaScript objects that somewhat map to each API endpoint. So for the basic ecom, we might have an API product. And I hate cluttered actions, so we generally call services from the component, and actions are essentially just passed through to mutations. I see. Makes the actions reusable, and services can be created as needed. Make sweeping out the store very easy as you can, as well as on the front end. The services are basic JavaScript. Our basic JavaScript basically. Oh, I see. All right, and hold all the logic when testing. Pretty simple too. So that's not bad. It's easier to test your communication layer. Is decoupled. I guess they mean when decoupled. So I guess that's calling protected API from view via access token. So yeah, I'd probably do the same. I'll probably combine it. Like it's just passing in, you just pass in, but what I would do is I'd put it in a central spot so that before it makes its call, it reaches out with a bearer token every time. And I might actually change some of my code, but they do make a very good point that like when you're obsessing over clean code and do not repeat yourself, you can kind of fall into the trap of being like, I need to do abstractions everywhere. I think that's a dangerous trap to fall into. Authentication by example. I don't want to quite do my auth 0 yet. View. Let's take a look. Good API practices. So what I'll probably do is, knowing that I want to play around with a view, is I will try to take one of my old applications and build a simple version of it first. Excuse me. Build a simple version of it first, or one of my other apps first in Vue, and then start building my new app, just so that I can feel a bit more comfortable, and start poking at some of this stuff. Now I installed Pinia here, but I'd like to play around with it and see how to use Pinia elsewhere. And yeah, I'd like to play around with some of this stuff, and build it out and kind of go from there. I don't really have much. That's just, there's a lot of little things that I haven't really played around with within Vue that I would love to take a swing at. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. So router view, router link. I see. So my about view is my template, app.view. There's my hello world where you pass in a message. And that's kind of cool. I think I haven't played around with, wait, you called it hello world. But, oh yeah, no. So no, I'm going to play around with some of this stuff. It seems neat, but it also seems complicated. And it feels very different. Not very different, but a bit different from, say, React. So my next plan of action is on Wednesday, I will start building out a small app in Vue. I will probably do one with a login and password. Now, I don't know how much of a template, as many templates I'm going to use. Like for the login and password, there'll be components. Well, there's really not a need, so there'll be subcomponents. And then I'll kind of play around with how you make forms. Let's take a look, because before what I did was there was, let's look for Vue API best API call best practices, and let's look at Vue React Forms. Is there a Vue form? Yeah, it's more comprehensible for beginners, but and then there's Angular, which is a whole other ball of wax. So I'll probably use React is just taken off, but I'll probably stick with this. And I thought about using Angular, but as far as I can tell, it's not nearly as good as I had hoped in terms of popularity and the fact that I don't think as many people are using it. So there's where is it at? Google Trends. So I took, of course, and I'm sure everyone's done this already. I looked up React. Then I looked up Vue. And then I looked up Angular. And Vue and Angular, though they've peaked up, Angular has a bit more popularity. But I was worried about the fact that, again, it's not easy, and it's not nearly as fast. Vue versus React, and I think I looked at this versus Angular performance. Yeah, I did. So, and I did play around with Svelte before. Comparing, there's the ease of build, and I can build in all three. I've worked with React and Angular for a while. The question is, let's use that to analyze. So let's look at these numbers. Angular will come in second, and then Vue first. Contentful paint. So Vue doesn't seem as fast there. A TBD? Oh, total blocking time. And then, so maybe Angular is the better choice. It's not that far behind. Angular optimization techniques for Angular. Lack in development teams. I don't know. I don't know if I feel that strongly. Like, people still love React. It's well known. But Angular has had its share of popularity as well. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either way. I'm perfectly fine with Angular. I might actually just stick to a very traditional stack. C# Angular stack. And I think, yeah, there it's called mean, but I'm not using Mongo. C# Angular Postgres. I don't know if that's a stack. I don't know what that would be called. So that would be cap. Cap. So let's look. Latest version of Angular. I think what I'll do is I'm going to play around and build an Angular. I'll make an Angular stack. I'll save this as a Vue app, and then I'm going to make an Angular stack that I can play around with as well. And I think I'll just stick with Angular, just because I know it. I've done it for 8 years, and I feel pretty confident about it. No one's talking about it. Like, I feel like no one's ever talking about Angular. But I feel perfectly fine with Angular. So the Angular folder structure. Let's take a look. Core modules, blah, blah, blah. I always found this troublesome. Sometimes people, when they're talking about C# and Angular, because they seem to kind of go hand in hand at times, they get very wordy. There it is. Guards, core modules. Yeah. So I think I'm going to use this as kind of my structure here. Let's go ahead and save this simple view app somewhere and kind of go from there. Let's do a git init, git init, git add. Hold on a second. I always have to exclude my certain things. Don't save my idea folder. Don't save my .vs code folder. And don't save .env. So we'll git add, git commit -m initial commit. Let's put you up on a repo somewhere. Call you the simple view app. I don't care if it's public. Let's go ahead and do git push. Cool. So now I have my basic, and I think, like I said, I'm gonna switch over and do Angular next. I haven't made an Angular app from scratch in a while. I did probably about a year and a half ago. So who maintains Angular actually? Who maintains Angular? Who maintains Angular? Oh, just dedicated to Google engineers. All right. So I'm gonna play around with a bunch of Angular stuff. Somebody has the pros and cons. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm not talking about Angular JS. I'm about Angular. Strictly typed forms. Nice. Nice. Form control. I wonder if there are Angular form libraries. Formly. Oh, there is. Automatic form generation. I see. Nice. So let's look at how that works. Inside the form tag, configure our defined form, fields, email. Huh. I see. That's not bad. Then I could do something like that for all of my forms when I have multiple. I wonder what that would look like. Yeah, no, I'd have to play around with some of this. But yeah, what I'll do is next time on Wednesday, I will build a small Angular app, and then I will build one of my simple applications. I'll probably do let's look. Let's see. I'll probably make a quick backend that connects to a MongoDB. and build a simple calorie tracker, and kind of go from there. Or I could build my long-awaited budget application. Yeah, I think I'll build at least a budget app in Angular, kind of something quick and dirty. Nothing, no login, nothing like that. Maybe a login, and then kind of go from there. So, anyway, I'm getting tired because I'm old and I'm an old man, and so I will see everyone on Wednesday, unless I get too tired and fall asleep. Yeah, I'll see everyone on Wednesday, where I'll be working on an Angular application, and not stressing so much about don't repeat yourself in clean code, which I think is a little easier with things like Angular because it already has very big separation of concerns. But we'll probably, I like this approach here. Again, here's your core folder right off the bat. It mimics Microsoft. Microsoft has a core, if you will. Shared directives, pipes. Uh, yeah. Yep. There's a location for storing type definitions. Yeah, no. So, no, I liked it. I wonder if he kept this anywhere. But we have it here. I'll bookmark it. So I like this core features, and it reminds me of that separation that you kind of see in like I said, .NET. So, yeah. All right. Thank you very much again, everyone, for tuning in. I will talk with everyone on Wednesday. You have a good evening. Take care and be safe. It is 9:43 p.m. on Monday, February